Hey everyone. So I'm here for a Saturday Bookish chat. I realized that I did not do one last Saturday, and that was because I was not home for most of that day, and then when I did get home I was exhausted. So the last Saturday I was coming home from the Houston area. I had gone to my daughter's graduation, so I now have 2 high school graduates amongst my children. So that's an exciting thing. But her graduation was that Friday. We went, but since it was so far from where I actually live, we stayed in this cruddy little hotel room, and then we drove back leisurely on Saturday and had a nice lunch and all that. Like, of the 3 children, she lives with her dad. So, yeah, like, I had to travel for that one. So, yeah, a lot of graduations last week. But, and this week has been busy also, even though I'm technically on summer vacation now. She was in town this week. We're doing, actually, this evening, we're doing a graduation party here for her. But then, like, sprinkled throughout the week, there's been like a lunch here, a lunch there, like going out and doing things. Also, I'm doing some like an extra job, teacher job thing with like curriculum stuff. And so there was a couple of days this week where I had to work on that. I'm here. I just woke up just a little bit ago, still drinking my coffee. And I've got a hair appointment. So that's why my hair looks not great. I'm here just shortly. I have to, go to my hair appointment, and when you go and I get my hair dyed because I have some gray hairs that I like to cover up. And also, if you watch some of my earlier videos, I'm more of a redhead. Like, it's kind of a more burgundy auburn kind of color, and now it's like this dark brown. My real hair color is closer to this, but not quite so dark. It's a little bit washed out, mousy, I don't know. But I get it dyed a more vibrant color, and then I have highlights in it. I don't know if you could tell. You see, yeah, you can see some of my highlights. I have highlights in it. I put highlights in it during the warm months. So, like, I think the last visit, I went and put the highlights back in. I take them out during, like, the winter time because, it's just naturally I wouldn't have highlights in the wintertime because I don't go outside and the sun is not shining. But, anyway, I don't care about my hair. So today will be kind of a busy day too. So that's why I'm here fresh out of the bed. I'm still in my nightgown. You can see my nightgown has these little owls on it. And it's one of those like oversized t-shirt dress looking nightgown things. And yesterday my oldest came into I came home and I changed. I was wearing jeans like a dummy, and I just felt sweaty, like when you sweat and your clothes like stick to you. And so I immediately would change out of like whatever I wore out and was feeling kind of uncomfortable and sweating, cool off, put on like this loose fitting nightgown. And my oldest son, he came by and he goes, "Mom, your muumuu has owls on it." Yes, my muumuu does have owls on it. Muumuu rights. Okay. So anyway, I've actually gotten a lot of reading done this week. I finished reading The Heart Principle by Helen Wong. I actually have it here. Because I filmed the final clip of the vlog, and I need to edit that vlog and put it up so you guys can see it. But that takes a little more work, so you'll probably see that in the coming days. I don't want to make a guarantee. Hopefully I can get it done tomorrow because I don't have as much on my plate tomorrow, but I don't want to make that, I don't want to say I'm going to get that done and then it takes me too long to edit it and then it isn't up and you're like, where is it? She's a liar. You know how it is. I also finished One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I don't have it in here with me. I can't show you the excuse me, I can't show it to you, but it's pink and purple. you guys. So, One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston is her second novel after Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is like so well known, and they're working on a show for that. I've been hearing, like, I follow her on Instagram, and I've been seeing like casting news, and like it made me kind of excited. I really enjoyed Red, White, and Royal Blue. It wasn't like my most favorite book ever, but I really did enjoy it, and I do like the wittiness of the dialogue between the characters and Casey McQuiston's writing in general. So One Last Stop is the second book that she's published, and it is where Red, White, and Royal Blue had like a focal point on the male-male romance. One Last Stop has a female-female romance, and it was good. It had a bit of a sci-fi element, and I kind of dug that, and it sort of made sense, I guess. It kind of, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to suspend your disbelief when you read something like that. Anyway, I think that the romance was okay. There were a few things that were kind of cringe about it. Like, one of the characters is, like, trapped on a train in New York, and it's a romance, so there's, like, some heavy-duty PDA in there, and I'm just like, ew. I don't know, I just could not quite get past that, and, yeah, so I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I didn't like love it. But The Heart Principle and One Last Stop are both copies that I have from Book of the Month. Not sponsored, y'all. I just fell into the rabbit hole of Book of the Month, and I enjoy it because there's like communities. You can there's like Facebook groups and stuff like that, and I enjoy like bookish discussion, even if I don't run it or take a big part of it. I like to like lurk and read it. But anyway, so finishing those two this week has put me up to 11 out of 12 on the little badges or whatever. I think I showed them to you guys in another bookish chat. So I just have to finish one more of my Book of the Month books, and I'll unlock the bonus badge. I already know what the bonus badge is, so it's not about finding out what it is. It's just unlocking it and moving on to it, I guess. But I like it because it's having those badges, and I'm kind of sort of competitive with myself. It gives me like sort of that push to like make sure that I'm getting these books read, because I am like so many other people who collects a lot of books and then doesn't necessarily read them all. In fact, last night I was looking at some shelves and I was thinking, I need to unhaul some of these. Some of them I don't know why I'm keeping them on my shelves. I've either read them and I know I'm not going to read them again, or I haven't read them and I'm not interested anymore. Like, they've sat there, and whatever reason I had for getting them in the first place, I don't feel that anymore. So, and life's too short to like force yourself to read books you don't want to read, and that whole spiel. So yeah, I might do like an unhaul. I already have a box that has books in it that you might have seen me talk about, that I finished reading them and go, okay, and just went ahead and put them in the unhaul box, as opposed to reshelving them, because I knew I wasn't gonna, there was no point in putting them back on the shelves just to pull them back off at a later time, because I just knew in my heart of hearts. So right now, I am focusing on, and I don't have any of those, I'm sorry, I'm not prepared as far as like having copies of the books handy. I'm focusing on finishing My Fine Fellow by Jenica Cohen. It's good. It's YA. It's sort of in this like, not quite this our universe. Like, there's a little bit of a change. Women in that, it's like 1830s London, but women, it's a little bit different for women. There's like been some laws or something, and there's like some job avenues open to women. So it's sort of like an interesting thing. It's a take on My Fair Lady, which I like My Fair Lady. It kind of makes me want to like go and read Pygmalion, because it's based off of that. That's what My Fair Lady is based off. Is like all these different things based off each other. Or watch My Fair Lady. So I'm focusing on that one, and I actually read probably about 50 pages of that yesterday. I'm also kind of picking up speed in Razorblade Tears. I started reading Razorblade Tears a couple of weeks ago, but I only read like the first like 20 or 25 pages, sort of like try a chapter, and I was like, yeah, like this is interesting. I read some more of it last night or yesterday afternoon, I guess, when I got home, and so I am about just over, I think, 50 pages, or maybe right at 50 pages in that one, so that puts me about a third, maybe a third of the way through. How big? No, not a third of the way through. Maybe like 20-something%. I don't know. It's not a super long book, but it's picking up in its intensity. Well, it has an intense premise, so and none of this is spoilers. This is all stuff you can read on the flap. But Razorblade Tears is written by S.A. Cosby, and it's his second or third book, I believe. And I got this one also from Book of the Month. So reading it will complete my challenge, my first set of challenges for Book of the Month. But anyway, it's about these two fathers. I believe they live in Virginia. And one is like a black father, and one is a white father, and the connection between them is that their sons were gay and married, and so and they were a little bit estranged because like a lot of a lot of these, you know, Southern fathers have a difficulty with gay children, and so you see this in them. There was a little bit of distance between these fathers and their sons. Not quite the same because, you know, they're individual relationships. But yeah, they both kind of had issues with their sons. And their sons were murdered. Brutally murdered. Like, shot. But not just shot. Like, shot so bad that, like, one of the fathers makes a comment about not being able to have an open casket because it was just so bad. So, like, you get that impression. And so the police are investigating it, and since they were, like, you know, openly gay, married men, like, possibly as a hate crime. And where we are in the book, the fathers have sort of band together because it's become evident that the police are not really spending the kind of time and energy that they feel like needs to be. And so they are getting together, and they're going to see if they can't get some information to get the case to progress, because what they ultimately want is for whoever killed their sons to not just get away with it. And the other thing about these fathers is that both of them separately in their lives had served time in prison. So they both have, you know, done some things, and they, where they're at in their lives at this time, with their sons have been murdered, is, you know, they're living outside. They've been released from prison, and they're living their lives, and they're not engaging in that lifestyle anymore. But then when they're confronted with this, they are like, well, we have this skill set. We have this ability to engage in, you know, crimes. So if it comes to it, we can do that. Like, we know we have that within us. And what I'm really enjoying about it, like, okay, so that's just like the setup or whatever. What I'm really enjoying about it is the banter between these two guys. One is like it feels like he's just barely containing his anger. Like he's like a bomb, and the fuse is lit, and it's like, ooh. And the other father is soaked in alcohol, but he's also, he's nice, but he says like racially insensitive things, and he's kind of witty, kind of funny in like a coarse ick kind of way. I think part of what has drawn me into it is that, you know, being a Texan, I can go outside my door and look around and see individuals who remind me very much of these characters. I realize it's set in Virginia, and I think the author is located in like South Carolina, but like, I mean, different areas of the South are different, but in some ways we're very much the same. And so I think like that sort of connection for me as a reader, it really sparks my interest even more, because it's easy for me to imagine these characters, because yeah. So there's that. I'm also still reading The Well of Ascension. I'm about 60% done with it, so I anticipate finishing it sooner rather than later. It's not that it's bad, it's just when you're reading high fantasy, there's a certain level of concentration. And also Brandon Sanderson, because it's, you know, written by Brandon Sanderson, he sort of meanders through like these scenes, and so you could read, you know, a good 30 or so pages and still be within a scene of sorts or whatever. And I like that. I love it. I think it's great, but it's not conducive for me to just like burn through it. And it's like, I don't know if you guys have seen the meme like on social media and stuff where it's like, is this the brain that I would read 750 page books in one day in middle school? Is this the same brain? I kind of feel that, because I was able to burn through entire honkin' chunk books, you know, like it took me less time to read The Stand than it's taking me to get through The Well of Ascension. But when I, you know, like really closely examine that, I didn't have all the stuff in my life that I do now. Like, you know, I'm grown now and I have to work and maintain a household and stuff. So yeah, like I'm not mad at myself about it, but also I hate that I'm not like finishing it as fast as I would like to, but that's just sort of like a surface level bother. That's not like a big, deep, gnawing problem that I feel. So anyway, I think, and I don't have this book in here with me. Yeah, I just basically came in with my coffee and my camera and just said, okay, I'll just film a video. I think that I will start up the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James soon. It's calling my name. Having read like The Heart Principle and One Last Stop, those are like romantic. I've got Razorblade Tears, which is a little more like intense. I think I want a little bit of that spooky, and I know like Simone St. James is a known quantity for me, so I can get into her writing, I can get into like what she's got, and it's a little bit like mystery thriller with a dash of supernatural, and I really enjoy, like, more and more I've noticed in recent years, like reading things that include the supernatural. Like I'm seeking out things that have like ghost or spooky things. So there's that. So, I mean, yeah, like some days I am working from home, and so that's really good because I'm not having to like get out of the house, and it's easier to like grab snippets of time to like read a little bit in between tasks and stuff. So that's good. But yeah, I think that's it for the things that I've been reading and the things that I'm, you know, interested in. It's June, and so oh, I'll have to show you guys in like next week's video. We call it a literary society more than a book club, because a book club is like, okay, we're focused on this one book, and mostly we don't talk about the books we're supposed to talk about. We talk about like everything else, and a big part of what we do is talk about like books that are on our radar, why they're on our radar, that kind of thing. Like, it's not just whatever book we have read. Anyway, and sometimes the books that we read we don't have a lot to say, go, you know, move on. But last summer we did a bookish bingo, where it's a bingo card and it's got different like prompts for things that you can read. And so we talked about it at the end of May, and we're like, hey, are we going to do this again? And I'm the scribe. I'm like the secretary. So like I do a lot of those things. And so I pulled up the link to last year's card. We did it in, and I think you can find this if you want to like make your own or whatever. The Bookish, buzzwordbingo.com. You can make your own like bingo card, and it'll also like you refresh it, it'll auto generate and change your cards up. So you get different cards from people. But anyway, and it just has like different prompts on it. We went in and tweaked some of the prompts because there were a couple of prompts that we had issues with last year that were just not fun. And yeah, and then just sort of like done that. So I've got that, and I need to actually like finalize a card so I can go, okay. And I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, I think what I'm going to do is just continue to just read whatever the hell I want. And then I'll go back and look at the card and go, okay, this fits here, this fits here, this fits here. Because I'm one of those people, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm one of those people that reads so widely and varied that like I can hit a bunch of different of these like prompt things without trying. I'm not bragging. It's just, I think I wouldn't say, oh, my reading is varied, you know, as a show off. I think my reading is varied because it's like a more of an ADHD sort of characteristic that I have, which comes from my anxiety. And my mind, you know, the anxiety makes my mind sometimes. And, so like, yeah, like that's part of the reason I read so many books at a time is because if I pegged myself in and said, no, you came to this one, you're going to read this one and you're not going to touch anything else, I would probably slump and then barely read anything because my brain would be like, screw you. And I wouldn't get into it. And also some of the things I read are kind of dark. And so like, I like to have like a bit of a palate cleanser. I think I talked about that when I talked about Manhunt. Because Manhunt, I mean, I didn't want to go to bed right after reading some of that. Read something else, read a little bit of romance to kind of like make me not think such scary, sad things. But, you know, anyway. Okay, well, I've been rambling. I feel like I'm just I've rambled this whole entire time. So I'm sorry if there's nothing coherent in this entire chat. But I'm going to wrap this up here so I can like brush my hair, drink my coffee, get ready for the day. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.